All righty. We're gonna give it a couple of minutes. There we go. I fixed the link, so maybe, well, you won't try again until the 22nd. So if it don't work, still let me know. Somebody's trying to eat too. I'm gonna put a few bites of soup in my mouth. We're gonna give it a couple of minutes, and we're gonna wait on some more people. So I'll be right back. All righty, you guys. Yeah. How are you guys doing? How is your Monday? It's going good, going good. Talk to me in the chat. Let me know that you are alive and somewhat awake. Um, as you can see, I've blew out my hair because I'm trying to get it braided. So that's the reason why I just couldn't get it done. Yeah. So it is what it is, right? So I wanted to definitely get on here. I'm pretty good. I can't complain. My neighborhood has gnats everywhere. So if you see me doing this, so embarrassing. I gotta get a trap. Um, so I wanted to get on here real quick. Few things that there is no Zoom meeting next Monday. Okay, so no Zoom. I won't even be available, with the exception of me grading for midterms. Um, but uh, yeah, there's no meeting at all on 15th. So a few things about your midterms. I got some good questions about everybody trying to submit information about their midterms. I won't start. I'm a not touch anything until Wednesday morning as far as grading is concerned, to give everybody an opportunity to turn in what they can. I am going to start Wednesday because it's good to know what you're going into the 15th, right? As far as your midterms are concerned. So I will not touch anything until Wednesday. So don't stress yourself out right now. If you have questions or you feel like you need extra time, just email me or message me through the Remind app. We'll work it out. I don't want you to panic, for real. I don't want you to panic, because already being at home and not in the classroom is stressful enough. Okay, so I don't want to add additional panic on your plate. Um, so let me do this. Okay, let me get this screen share right fast. And if I look down, I'm getting messages too. So everybody should see my Blackboard screen, correct? Correct.
Yeah, we can see it.
Got it. All right. So this is week 6. I'm showing you this because there's a few chapters in here that basically talk about like different forms of instruction for individuals, for groups, or for just almost how most of us professors are doing now during this time, is teaching on the fly, right? So and then you're going to case study number 2, where it talks about stress and illness, quick, fast, in a hurry. All right. So when I say Zoom, I don't want you to get consumed with saying, "Oh my gosh, I got to schedule a Zoom call with Miss Nesbitt." Okay, don't do that. All right. Now, if you choose maybe do a Zoom call with maybe someone else, another classmate, then that's fine. Just make sure you record it. But if you don't have that opportunity to do that, then you could just record it on your phone and you could submit. Okay. So, um, those are the things that you could do in reference to this particular case study. All right. So I'm not going to put up a rubric because I feel like for some degree, sometimes, and I say now because right now this is still a transition. Hopefully, we'll be back in the classroom real soon. Um, but um, I'm not going to put up a rubric. I'm going to be grading on like just your best effort. As you notice, I'm not trying to give you all these tests because I'm pretty sure you have all these classes. You have tests in other classes, especially if you're with me. There's classes and there's tests and everything else and quizzes. So, but this class is just basically grading your creative ability and how well you do research, right? Especially with, it's important, especially if you maybe want to continue your education, maybe you want to get your master's, maybe you want to get your doctorate. So it's just really preparing you to really just kind of exercise those brain cells, right? So it's just an opportunity for you to say, hey, I'm ready for this. And also, here's one thing that comes to mind is maybe save this stuff for, for the future. So when you do go into a master's program, it's stuff that you already know. So by all means, save these notes, especially if you're going into physical education, as far as teaching in secondary ed, like your high schoolers, your middle schoolers, just things to keep, just in your back pocket, just so you can always reference. So definitely keep your notes. Hint, hint, hint. So, sorry, everybody's looking for me. Got 3 different devices doing the same thing. So, it definitely takes some time to really review case study number 2 to get it completed. But I don't want you to stress yourself out. All right. If you're stressing yourself out and you got questions or you're confused, don't hesitate to email me. Don't hesitate to reach out to me through the Remind app. Okay. So, Now what I'm going to do is that we're going to go into week 7, right? Which is your research assignment. Okay, so sometimes, and it's rightfully so. Some of you guys, I don't know how many of you guys had, and you can let me know in the chat whether yes or no, or Y or N, for, for the respective word. But how many of you guys have had research methods? Some of you may not have, but how many of us have had research methods or are taking it this semester? Let me see. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't think any of you guys are in research methods, but that's okay. What I've done, okay, is basically I like to introduce everybody to the basics of kind of like going into research. And what I've done is that I put different tools that I think that are going to be helpful for you guys to be successful in research methods. But having said that, I've also created a tool that I've learned in my own writing journey about like kind of creating an assignment, right? So if you look down on your page where it talks about please design your paper in the following format, where it says meal, your main point, your evidence, your analysis, your lead out. Okay. That is a game changer. Okay. So that is the best piece of tool that I've ever received to help me be able to write this paper. Let me check my email because I'm getting all kinds of notifications because I want to make sure students are in here. Hold on. Let me stop the share real quick. Make sure that, because I don't know if I think he's in the right meeting. Let me see. Who has Quidarius's email? Hi, Precious. Who has Quidarius's email? I think he's trying to get into the classroom, but I don't think he has the right link. Hold on one second. Let me help him out here. Give me 1 second. Let me help him. Let me get him in here real fast. All right. Sorry, guys. I tried to get everybody in here. Okay. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Let's see if I can help him out. Okay. All right. Whew. So I put that on there. Back to the writing aspect of it. Let me reshare my screen for you. Oh yeah, I don't want to share. Okay. So so you'll see where there's meal down there, right? And it's ideal for you to be able to write your paper in terms of just kind of getting through it and getting to the main point, right? And just still help, kind of covering all topics. But this is a game changer. I highly recommend that you save this, maybe copy and paste it, maybe put it to the side, maybe save it for future references. Like I said, if and when you want to continue your education through your master's, another bachelor's, or whatever the case may be, this is a good thing to consider in terms of organizing your paper. All right, so you're just going to pick a topic from chapter 6, 7, 8, or 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. It feels so weird not saying 5, right? That's just random. But 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, you're just going to pick a topic. And you could just simply, and I'll go through all the prompts. Okay, you got your Google Scholar, making sure you're still there. All right, and you're just going to select teaching on a fly. That's one of the chapters. Okay, you're just going to simply go through your Google Scholar. Well, I want my Google Scholar be great. All right, so then you kind of going through your prompts, right? And you're seeing, okay, that's not what I wanted or needed or whatever the case may be. That's not what I'm looking for. All right, bet. So let's see, teaching, let me see, at the last minute, because that's what teaching on the fly really is, teaching at the last minute. So, and of course, you're going to come up with different things, and then that's when you could define a little bit more. Teaching middle school students at the last minute. Let's see where it comes up. So I want you to just be mindful of it. You could be, I don't need spot on perfection. Okay. I don't want you to beat yourself up and be like, oh God, it's got to be teaching on the fly. All right. So it could be something like this. I think this is a pretty good article, teaching middle school students with learning disabilities to recruit positive teaching attention. I think that's a good one. But remember, you're still in the mindset of teaching health education. Okay. So that's a good one. Tips and strategies for co-teaching at the secondary level. And here's a small cheat. Make sure you pay attention to this. Here's a small cheat. All right. You're going to open up your article, right? And you're like, oh my God, this is 7 pages of torture. Y'all don't read that abstract, read that beginning part. The abstract in this particular article is red, okay? If you don't get the basics of the information of the article from the abstract, baby, let me tell you, you will be, if it is a topic that you're really interested in, then definitely dive into it. But if it's something, everybody is kind of pressed for time, right? Because we're all home and we're all doing multiple things at once. I don't know about you guys, I'm doing multiple things at once. Okay, so if I could get some information from the abstract, then that is fine. All right, and I highly recommend that for you as well. Okay, same thing. We're just gonna say, what do we do? Teaching writing strategies to middle school and students with disabilities. We won't do that. Let me see. Teaching health. Ah, there it is. Teaching health. Might get a little interesting here. Or how about this? Let's see what we get when we type in teaching health middle school students. That should be real tough. Okay. So now you have a little bit of this. This is a book. You can pull the HTMLs. I will take that. You could put teaching healthcare in the elderly in the medical course in Nottingham. You could do that. Okay. So I want you to be very creative. Just be mindful of those chapters that you reviewed. Now, you won't get teaching on the fly exactly. You can as far as Google Scholar, but you can also Google it. I tell everybody Google everything, but nobody really believes me. Teaching at the last minute. Okay, so here we go. Here's a here's a website just especially for my teacher education ones. Just to bookmark. Don't always use it, but to bookmark it, where it talks about the last minute teacher. So those are just tools that you could definitely use. Just kind of, you could transfer that skill from teaching, and maybe you have to teach a health class, or maybe you have to do a health education presentation. So definitely use these tools. And this is all part of research, seeing what you can find, right? Just dig deep into their time permitting. Okay. I know, like I said, we're all strapped for time. All right. So do I have any questions, comments, concerns, anything? I think somebody else who might be under 5 has a question. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is, hold on, let me take a look at the chat real quick, see if anybody got questions there. Nope. All right, so moving forward, where it talks about like making learning stick, what I usually try to do, in terms of health is concerned, I usually connect health topics with real life topics, like the stuff that I'm experiencing. So that's basically what chapter 11 really goes into. But and I want you just to keep that in mind. I don't think I'm going to test on that, but I just want you to be mindful of it and taking these tools with you. I have these PowerPoints up here for you guys to click, download, and save. Okay, just in case you're on a student teaching assignment and you got to do certain things. Boom, resources. So resources without you having to dig too deep into the internet world. All right, so still going back to learning module number 2, there is more information as far as teaching tools are concerned, but I definitely do encourage you to find some teaching tools. This is a discussion board. Definitely find some ways that will really kind of enhance your teaching toolbox, especially when it comes to health education. So one of the things in my teaching toolbox that I have in teaching health education, whether they are college students or student group or middle schoolers, is that you want to maybe, depending on your school district, because everybody's school district is different, You have school districts that teach safety in sex education, and then there's school districts that teach abstinence in sex education, right? So they teach you to not do it at all, but just to put it frank. What I usually try to do is that I try to find safe methods to talk about sex education across the board, right? So one of the things that I've used in the past, and it could change now, is that I would just get like one of those small volleyballs, right? Just get a small volleyball, and I would just have people put paint on their hands. And of course, we would do it outside or do it in an open area. Just put paint on their hands, rub it in, put it on their palms, right? And hand everybody the volleyball, a clean volleyball. And I would just hand it to them and tell them, just hand it to somebody else. Hand it to as many people as you can. Don't throw it because it's a mess. Don't throw it, but just hand the people the volleyball. And mind you, they're contaminating a clean volleyball with their painted hands as the volleyball is passed around. So those are the methods that I would use. And you're probably wondering, well, what the hell does that teach? So basically that teaches about, being safe and being mindful. Now, if you're going to participate in sexual activity, there is a measure of safety. So I could have easily put the volleyball in a bag, right? But of course I didn't. The volleyball wanted to do its own thug thizzle. So there's that. Or if you know that you want to keep the volleyball clean, don't go into dirty hands. So try to keep it on both sides of the spectrum to really accommodate everybody. Okay. Because if you're going to go into health education as a teacher, you are going to come across students and patients and athletes that are going to tell you some wild stuff that they've done, or you're going to come across those who are like, nope, I grew up in a household where sex is not happening until marriage. So those are just things that you just want to be very mindful of. Okay. You got to be mindful of that because you're not always going to change people's beliefs. And it's not really your job to change or coerce or persuade. You just want to educate. Okay, those are the things to just be mindful of. You just want to enlighten them and educate them. And maybe if someone reaches out to you for more learning opportunities and they want to learn more and they are, this is something that's ideal for them, then you could be a guide to them. But in the meantime, to cover all, you want to make sure that you are educating, not persuading. Okay, you want to try to pull back from that. And so those are one of the teaching tools that I have in my toolbox. I definitely have posters, or I know the uh, theoretical model of change, where you go through all of those steps: the pre-contemplation and contemplation, the action, motivation, execution, that type of deal. So I also keep the concept of SMART goals in my toolbox. So there's so many things that you can just kind of reference and keep on your own as far as knowing what to use to teach. So I definitely recommend that you do your research and figure out what are going to be some good teaching tools for students in terms of health education. Sound good? Sound great? All right. So, have any questions about anything? Because, like I said, I am a firm believer of time. There have been research that shows that we got about 20 minutes of bandwidth for meetings like this, and I'm at 120. So if I was you guys on the receiving end as a student, I'd be like, all right, I'm over this. So do I have any questions, comments, concerns about where we are? Like I said, we are on learning module number 2. We're wrapping things up with learning module 2. If you want to complete learning module 2 ahead of the due date, that's fine. The due date for that module is the 21st of March. And prior announcements, I put up details about what are things that you'll need to make sure you're completed for the midterm grade, which is due next Monday at noon. But I did put up some of the parameters as far as what is due on March 15th. So do I have any questions, comments, concerns before I go braid this head? Because I know that's the other piece of that. I know good news is this, the deep conditioner works. So it's got my hair laying down. Normally my hair be out, but it's laying. Somebody finds it funny. So if I don't have any questions from you guys, like I said, even though midterm grades are due at noon next Monday, there is no lecture, like I said, whatsoever. All right. No lecture. If you have me for another course, no lecture in that. I will be unavailable completely on the 15th. So, but if you guys don't have any questions, I'm gonna let you guys go. I don't know where you guys are located. I think one or two of you guys are here in Kentucky, but let me tell you, the sun is out and it's 60 degrees in Lexington. So by all means, take a walk, stretch it out before you start doing some work. So if you guys don't have any questions, I will see you guys on March 22nd. But of course, if you have questions, just message me. All right. I'll see you guys later.